Warpaint, the Fool.
Hello, my needle drops. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd with an itchy ear. It's time for an album review. But before I get into that, I want to say, we are so close to 11,000 subscribers right now. Yeah, and you know what? My birthday is this Thursday. You know it'd be awesome? 11,000 by the birthday. That would make me so excitedly happy, good feeling. Yeah, real good. So we're going to take a look at the new Warpaint album. The Fool. Warpaint is a California band that plays this very light, ethereal brand of rock music. Something that's kind of like psychedelia, but without all of the drugs. Wait a second. Everybody in the band is female. Do you hear that, everybody? It's a band with an all-female lineup that doesn't sound like a garage rock rehash of the Shangri-Las. I hate Couch Chest. What'd I do? Well, anyway. This album got tons and tons of requests on yesterday's video from Luke Pilot, Jeremology, Stone Gorilla, plus it got way more comments on previous videos, my channel, and Warpaint's The Fool is also out today, so I figured, why not? Let's review it! A lot of what I'm hearing about this new album is that it's a grower, and I have to agree. This thing is most definitely not a flaming roller coaster ride of explosions and zombie decapitations. The Fool burns much slower. It's not just an LP built of immediate and simple songs. Nearly every track starts off pretty understated, but eventually unfolds and blossoms like a flower. And all these petals are layered on top of each other, made of shimmering guitar and intertwining vocal harmonies and lyrics about a relationship gone sour. And all of that is well and good and nice and well and good. But really what caught me the most about this LP, what kind of made me want to stick around, is just the drums and bass of this thing. There's definitely a bit of a post-punk, even a post-hardcore influence going on in the rhythm section here. Very tight, very technical, and totally adds another level of enjoyment for me to this record. I wouldn't say the lyrics on this album are spectacular. It's not like if you wrote them down they would jump off the page. Not really. But this album isn't really about that. It's not really about wordplay or being a wordsmith. It's more about ambience than action. Much like yesterday's album that I reviewed, Matthew Dear's Black City, The Fool really has a sense of place. It's like being somewhere. In my head I get all these images of old pyramids and just archaic architecture, maybe like the Colosseum, just long hallowed walls and lots of echoes, lots of reverb, just something that feels much older than it actually is. Just all these eerie, dark buildings, but there's also something that kind of beckons to me about it. It just feels like kind of seductive as well. It's well produced, it's well mixed, it's very well performed. The only thing I see keeping this album from making the splash that it could is that for pop fans, it may not go in a poppy enough direction, and for psychedelic fans, it may not go in a psychedelic enough of a direction. I wouldn't say Warpaint pioneers with either of these sounds, but rather just creates a pretty well-blended combination of the two. My major gripe about this LP is that it does not finish as strong as it starts. The band starts introducing more electronics, an acoustic track, some really heavy-handed piano on the closer, and the album just kind of starts to lose character at this point because Warpaint is really starting to drift away from the smoothness, the linear structures that made the previous songs so good, so hypnotic, so mesmerizing, so entrancing. And just like that statement earlier that I made, which kind of applies to me, this thing doesn't really stretch far enough into the accessible or the experimental for me, but kind of sits in the middle, though I can totally see the appeal here. There are some really great standout moments for me on this thing, like composure, Shadows, the opener, Set Your Arms Down, all really deep grooves. Something that kind of reminds me maybe a little bit of Bright Black Morning Light, but much, much, much more upbeat. So how much am I enjoying this thing? I would say a strong 6 or a light 7 on a good day, a light 7 on a good day. It all depends. This is just my opinion. But if you're looking for something that is going to chill you out, something that is very immersed in its own sound, I would recommend Warpaint, The Fool. But let me know what you guys think of this thing. Do you love it? Do you hate it? And why? Anthony Fantano, Warpaint, The Fool, forever.